Hey everybody, and welcome to this extra, very special Hobby Titan stream. I'm joined, of course, by Kat, my dear friend and colleague. Kat, how's it going?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
After a few weeks in the horrible grimdark of the 41st millennium, we are back in the slightly less horrible, slightly less grimdark, mortal realms of Sigmar. How's it feel?
Feels good.
Yeah.
It feels good. It's been a while since I worked on my Gloomspite, honestly, so it feels good to get back to it.
Yeah, you've got this box of the weird, what is it called? I actually can't remember what it's called.
The Gobpalooza box.
Gobpalooza.
Yeah.
You're like looking, I was like, is there something wrong with my hair? You're like, the Gobpalooza box. I, of course, as you guys know, am cranking out a Daughters of Khaine army. Today I'm actually really excited for the model I'm working on. I was a little nervous. I did some airbrushing on it to get it going for the stream today. And I have to admit that I had no idea how I was going to paint this model. So I'm liking the way it's coming out, though.
Interesting.
Okay, I think we're ready. Are we ready to do this?
Yeah, let's get to it.
Let's get creative, guys. Okay, so a couple of my characters, just want to kind of update you guys with where I'm at. I've actually done this High Gladiatrix before. I did her on stream, actually. Behind her is Morgwaith, which is, she's like this, again, sort of like a special character for Sigmar, but I'm honestly intending to just use her as a Hag Queen because she looks so much more cool than the Hag Queen model. And I did paint up a real Hag Queen, just in case I go to BAO and run her as my Hag Queen and someone's like, wait, her base is 3 millimeters bigger. Then I'll be able to be like, all right, I'll get my other Hag Queen. But today's character, Kat, if we can go to shoulder, is way different. Today I've got the Bloodwrack Medusa. Now, I'm excited for this character because, well, first, I should say I was nervous for her because she is, as you can see, like a little bit different. When you look and see how people have painted her, both in the GW Studio armies, she's very unique in the army. The army, most of the, they're called in 40K, or not 40K, excuse me, in Sigmar, to avoid copyright infringement, they're called Melusai. Most of the Melusai are literally the elf, with an A, A-E-L-F. Elf. Yeah. The elf on top who looks like a normal elf, and then just the snake body. And if you look and you see like the blood stalkers or the blood sisters, that's always how people paint them. So normal lady on top. We could even say business on top, party on bottom. Okay. The Bloodwrack Medusa is often painted differently. She's like all weird, all different, and just kind of weird. So I leaned into that. I'm leaning in. I didn't do green. I did more of this like bluish turquoise because I want to keep my synthwave vibe going. There's really no green in the army at all, and I kind of want to keep it that way. No green, no red.
No solid greens, because it's very turquoise.
Right, yeah. Very turquoisey, but no like, well, actually there is about to be some mood green in her eyes, but very limited. So yeah, I want to do her a little different, and I actually want to, I'm excited. I think the first thing I'm going to actually do here is her eyes, because I want to do her eyes based off of, if you guys know I always forget his name, but the original Clash of the Titans, like the old stop animation. Harryhausen, somebody knows the guy who did these movies. They're super old-timey.
Yeah, it's not going to be me. Yeah.
They're super old-timey, but like in that movie, actually Megan and I just rewatched the original Clash of the Titans, the one from like the 80s, right?
Oh, okay.
Have you ever seen it?
No.
What? Oh, it's so cool. And in that, there's Medusa's in it, and she has like these very cool glowing eyes. So I want to give my Medusa really cool glowing eyes, rather than normally they don't normally paint her in the studio pictures and stuff with those. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And she does have like an attack in game that is her eyes, looking at things. So.
She looks at things. Okay.
And kills. Yeah. She causes mortal wounds. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's me. What are you working on?
I don't know how far you can get into this guy.
I can also, we can pass
him. I have one of the guys from the Gobpalooza box.
That's right. That's what this is called.
Yeah. Forgot which one it was. Obviously, it's the dude with the bones.
Scareboy. It's a Scaremonger.
Scaremonger. Yeah. And I just recently painted up some bones, and so that's why I was like, I like this guy the most. Not because he was number one in the directions when I opened the book.
Was he though?
He was.
He was.
He was 100%. Yeah. And funny that you mentioned that you're using that other model as like a proxy for something, but we were going over the rules for these guys earlier because they do have specific rules in Age of Sigmar.
They do,
and they're not great.
Yes, it's one of the Sigmar does this thing where like all of the like war cry bands and like that they've released, they put them in each army to have rules, which is cool. That you can just like take this thing from another game and put it in since it's in the same universe.
Yeah.
The problem with that, what they tend to do is they tend to then lump them like with a bunch of other models, or like they're weird. So like Kat has to buy like all, or like for point wise, she has to take like all
the
of them
entire
together.
box. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know that that's good. So like Adrian has this box too, and he kind of uses them randomly for like madcap shamans and stuff like that. I think that's sort of what a lot of people do. Plus, they're almost always newer, and so like they're stronger looking models. Like the normal Hag Queen, she's fine, but she doesn't look nearly as like dynamic and cool as this one back
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I plan on using these guys for, is just like stand-in models for various units that I'm not super in love with like the original sculpts and stuff.
They're old.
Yeah. Yeah, like the spiders from this army, super cool, but a big chunk of them are still like old school.
So the big one is cool, right?
The really big one.
The really big one's cool. It's the riders.
Yeah.
Those riders are like
small ones.
They're like very rectangular.
Yeah, they're on square bases.
But it's like they are the most like the rectangle bases that they're on. Mm-hmm. They're the number one unit where like when they made them, they were like, okay, let's make sure it like literally goes like, it's like when they like in Japan, like in The Simpsons, they show this cube watermelon that they grow like a watermelon by letting it grow into like a cube.
Yeah.
That's like what they did with those spiders that you're talking about. They look like they've been like grown in a rectangle.
And unfortunately, that's what they look like. So I would have loved doing the spiders. Because I think they're really cool, but I don't like them, and I don't want to then have to like do all this conversion work in order to get something that like I actually like. So, yeah. And
you and I have like talked a lot about this. We've talked about how like everyone's like, oh, you can find a cool 3D print or like something like that. But like I don't know about you. Did this come up with you and me last week, or maybe Adrian and I were talking about it, like. Or Brett and I can't remember, but like 9 times out of 10, you like start to do this 3D printing project, and you're like, oh, this is going to be as expensive as like GW MSRP.
Yes.
Like this is actually not cheap. The Suryani board Brett and I made last year, this is expensive. Those like big huts we made.
Yeah.
Those were like, because you know Brett like managed the purchasing of all the resin, and he did a good job printing them. They're like. They came out to like $60 each, and I was like, you know what? If GW made this same kit, I think it probably would be 80 to 90, but it would also be like done and perfect.
And you'd be able to buy multiples of them or something.
Yeah. So, I often find that 3D printing is not quite. I don't know if it's ever intended to get there, to be like, hey, here's this really cool. So what I find it's awesome for, I think we've talked about this, is trees. Trees are amazing because Citadel sells you, you love the Wildwood kit.
Yep.
I do too, but you can get for like $30, you can get, honestly, they're still not that, it's not that many less actually. It's $5. That's, Brett and I got the cost of the trees we made to $5, no, $6 a tree.
Oh, okay.
Right? And GW sells, is it 50 that they sell for?
I don't know how much the kit is, because the Wildwoods that I bought were in the combined Warcry kit. It came with 2 Wildwoods and then some like scatter ruins and stuff. And I think that was 80. So maybe they're 40 of us.
They're somewhere in between
like
there.
That,
Brett and I think we got the cost on the trees down like in between $6 and $8. And we felt like this was a good use of 3D printing. We were like, oh, okay, it's a little bit cheaper than if we had bought Wildwoods.
Yeah.
but also the Wildwoods are really cool. Like, I don't know, they weren't as cool as the Wildwoods.
Yeah, I do like the Wildwood sculpts and stuff. I just, yeah. And I am realizing how expensive 3D printing is because part of the cool, like, foresty, overgrown, ruined, whatever magical place board that I'm making right now, some of that terrain is 3D printed. And it's big, giant pieces, which are really cool. I don't think I'd be able to make on my own.
Yeah.
Or, maybe I could. It just would take a really long time.
Yeah. Those add up.
But yeah, like if each bottle of resin is like $30 and one print takes maybe like a third of a bottle.
Yeah.
It just adds up.
Brett never really was. Brett does sort of charge us in the local group, our play group, for his time, but not really. Like he's not making like a killing off of it, right? At all. He's just like charging it largely so people don't waste his time. Which, by the way, if you are the 3D printer guy, you should do that. When Brett first got his 3D printer, I don't know if the community remembers Heavy Intercessors were like super popular, but the kit didn't exist. But there was like a 3D print ST kit, and like 4 or 5 people were just like, "Hey Brett, can you print these for me?" And immediately Brett was like, "Well, first of all, just so you know, the resin cost of this is going to be like $80 some or whatever."
Right.
And then it was just like, "Wait, no, I'm not doing this for these people. Like, what? I'm going to sit here and just print, like, make sure these prints like come out, sit there, monitor the print. Like, no, like I'm not doing this. Like, yeah, you should be charging people for, even if they're your friends. Like, don't just charge them for the resin. I say you gotta like get a favor at least out of them, right?
Yeah, it takes time to make sure that the files are actually printable as well.
Yes.
And I'm finding that not every single STL file is made equally. There's a lot of STL files that you can buy out there that are really cool, but they're just, whoever made them is a 3D sculptor and not someone who then knows a whole lot about 3D printing.
Right.
And so they're not always necessarily like, okay, I just got to download these files and then put supports on it and then done, print. A lot of times it takes a lot more work to get things to line up properly. You know, maybe you got to scale them down, scale them up, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, it's a lot more work than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, so, and I have my local Brett to do that for me, but it is a lot of work. Well, thank you, Liberty Fires. He says, Kat and Zach, you got the emphasis this time. I think you usually do.
I usually do. Yeah, which is great.
And thank you as always, Liberty Fires. He says, Kat, I'm working on a punk rock Tau stealth suit team. I don't know if the Noise Marine guitar will fit though. Do you think a 3D printed guitar will work? Zach, thoughts?
Yeah. Funny enough, but as we were talking about 3D printing,
I know, right?
The cool thing about 3D printing is that you can scale it up or scale it down to however you need it to be, right?
I think this is like what Liberty Fires is talking about is so far in the 3D printing world in our hobby. I think this is where it excels.
Yes.
Right. Like, I need it for when it comes to terrain. I think it excels at trees and not a ton else. When it comes to like just getting a bit and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, it's great. Or if you like need 50 skulls or something, or whatever, it's definitely the go-to for stuff like that. And I don't mind. Like I'm definitely learning a lot as my friend is 3D printing stuff for me.
Yeah.
And thankfully, they're being generous enough to like let me see the process and, check on everything, every step of the way of like, hey, is this okay? Do you want it like this? They're also taking the time to combine a lot of files together so that it just is just as few prints as possible. And I don't mind. I don't mind paying a little extra resin for stuff like that. That's okay. Because then it honestly saves me time in the long run. But if you already have the Noise Marine guitar, honestly, I don't really think that there's going to be like a huge size issue. If you don't, though, then I would just go with 3D printing. Then that would be great. Because then you can just size it up or size it down however you need it to be. So I think that is the biggest benefit
Yeah.
to 3D printing.
I think it is truly like a good use of 3D printing. Now, as you know, I'm not a fan of silly stuff in my wargaming. So Liberty Fires, I think you knew that I wouldn't love this idea, but look, I'm excited to see it come to fruition. I think you're gonna do a good job on it, and I won't say I always hate this stuff. It's just like, I don't know, I like to be grumpy and serious about my wargaming, I guess. Now, Kat, I will say I got some good advice from Kat right before the stream started. I was like, okay, how do I like bring the scales out on this Bloodwrack Medusa? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna like just do like a really gentle hot dry brush of like a light blue or something, or maybe even just white. And Kat was like, no, I forget what you said.
I said a gold metallic.
Oh, and then do the turquoise over top.
Yeah.
But what I did instead, because she was like, oh, bring out the iridescence of snake scales, which I actually kind of forgot that snakes are like that.
Yeah. Snakes are my favorite animal. So.
Yeah, snakes are super cool. I forgot about that. So I was like, oh, no, you know what I'll do is I'll use this Mother of Pearl Turbo Dork.
Yeah, let's get a zoom on
it looks
that.
so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good call. It's so much better. This is, and you know, we've talked about this before on the channel. This is like one of my favorite uses for Turbo Dork.
It's dry brushing.
Dry brushing or any kind of like, often like weird utility niche uses where you're like, no, I'm not just going to spray this all over my model. But actually, if I go in and kind of like dry brush, it just brings out this natural. Well, okay, so we were talking about, you were like, when we dry brush something, when we highlight, right? We're doing like this top layer to bring out attention in some way, right? Like bring notice to it.
Yeah.
And you were talking about fur, and we were saying like people will do stuff like on Lizardmen armies and Seraphon armies, where they won't edge highlight like the color of the scale up. Instead, they'll be like, well, what makes a reptile or a dinosaur cool is that its scales might be edge highlighted like orange almost, or something like, right, like
it's iridescent in a way, right? Like it's almost color changing in a weird sort of way, right? Like it's so smooth that the way that the light reflects off of it is so much different. Yeah. Depending on the angle. No, but this is a good call, because honestly, like you said, I think I would have like lost the turquoise, and it's almost like, you know, you can work hard to make your dry brush not have that kind of dusty look, but I think it would have been, because I was gonna be using a makeup brush. I was gonna like do it really gentle. Oh, yeah. But I think this is the better look. Yeah, I think you can make it more gentle by just having less paint on your brush as well too, and just really focusing on essentially the parts where you would maybe put like a edge highlight, in a way, quote unquote edge highlight on her, and that's the only place that you're going to be dry brushing this metallic on. Right. And then that way it sticks out more as you turn the model. Because you're not like dry brushing, like you're being very purposeful of like you're just hitting the tops essentially. Right. And I think that creates more of an impact. And then if you're like, okay, well, I want to tone it down, I don't want it to be this shiny, then that would be where airbrushing, there you go, that's the word. Airbrushing your contrast paint back on top of it would work, you know, and you can use the edge of your cone to only cut into the metallic a little bit. Yeah. I'm trying to think if I want to do that here. I don't know if I need to. Yeah, because you did go with a turquoise metallic as well too. Well, the Mother of Pearl one, right? Which is like even more subtle. It's literally just like take something and make it iridescent. Like that's all. Honestly, that's what I found its best use literally is as well.
Because we tried to make a board out of this over white, and it really didn't play how we imagined it would. But now I realize like you actually have to put it over top of a color. I think.
I think it shines better on top of black. Because I find that putting metallics on top of white, you lose the intensity of it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Okay.
Well, I'm glad you like it because I know you were very scared. I still think gold would have been really cool.
Yeah.
I still think gold would be really cool because it honestly would tie into your yellow crystals. And maybe just like... her eyes are actually almost, with the amount I used of moot green, her eyes almost look yellowish. Well, moot green is like a yellow green, right? Yeah, so I don't know if you have like a very pale yellow turbo dork. I think you do.
Pucker?
I think you do because I literally touched all of them.
Yeah, I pucker.
Yeah, on last Thursday. I think we
oh
did
man, I'm so nervous. I'm gonna be, because I will say like, I do trust Kat's opinion on things, but I don't always trust that we'll have the same taste.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Like I think like you had a different thought on what I should do for this base when we did them together.
Yeah.
And then I did the thing that's like, I should go with my instinct of what I like, and I liked it. But I know your idea was good. All right, let's try a little bit.
Yeah, I think with just the edges, right? Like not as much as where you put the mother load, but just that like top little ridge here.
Like there.
Yeah, I think that would be really good.
Okay.
Yeah, or just like the top ridges of, you know, her body and not as much as you put of the mother load stuff.
Okay.
I think that would be really cool. I'm nervous, but that's also where then you can then airbrush over.
I'm not worried about like messing it up permanently. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's very evident here that I'm a big fan of green and gold together, and so turquoise and gold I think work really well.
Yeah. All right, we'll get it real subtle here. Yeah, I don't know. This might look good. I do like this color. This color is almost not even gold. It's almost metallic yellow. And I know, like, we've talked about this before, I think, on the stream with pucker.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, wait, isn't that what gold is? But, like, no.
Not really.
This really is, like, metallic yellow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it looks cool.
It looks awesome. Yeah. So I think it looks really cool. Let's see if you can pick it up on camera.
Is that the zoom?
Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I think it looks so cool. She's looking more and more snake-like, which I think is the goal, right?
I think so.
Make the snake look like a snake.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it looks great. And it gives it so much more dimension than just one thing. I like dry brushing and shading in various colors. I think it gives it a lot more depth than just like going in with one color. And it doesn't take that much extra time.
No, it's pretty easy. Yeah.
Yeah, which is why like when I did the bone, which is what I'm going to do right now, but the terrain piece I showed off last week, why I shaded in both snakebite leather and I think like, is it Cygor or is it Kygor brown?
I don't know.
Okay.
Cygor, I think?
I'm going to go with Cygor. But yeah, I shaded in both in like concentrated, you know, both in different areas so that you can get that dimension. I think that's really important. But yeah, awesome. Thank you, Rudy Picardo. Evening HT fam. So thankful to Hobby alongside you tonight. I'm working on my Tyranid themed terrain while watching your stream. I got my reindeer moss and tree lichens from Teresa Plants LLC.
Oh, yeah.
They look awesome. Thank you. And I think that was a suggestion from you, right?
Yeah. I love Teresa's Plants LLC. I love it's so great. It's like in the middle of nowhere, Arkansas. I really want to like visit her sometime, and this isn't like a dig on Arkansas, just like Meg and I just like have not really done a deep south trip. And like if we did, I don't know, like Arkansas, like, you know, there's like New Orleans, there's like Savannah, there's like cool places. Arkansas is like, I know everyone says Little Rock's nice. But anyway, I don't know if I'll ever make it out to Teresa's Plants LLC. Hopefully one day. That's awesome, Rudy. Yeah, and then we actually saw these this Tyranid themed terrain.
Yes.
We'll show one later today that you did. We had a hard time picking one for fan stuff. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's fun. It's fun because like right before we stream, usually we'll go through and pick all the fan stuff. And it's like always like, hey, do you want to do fan stuff? Do you want to do fan stuff? And I always am like, yes, I want to do it. But then while I'm doing it, you get distracted and you're like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. Fan stuff's fun to do. Yeah, this one was the stuff's looking great.
Yeah, no, it looks super awesome. We also have a ton of fan stuff today.
Oh yeah, there's a lot.
Like a ton. I was like, am I picking too many? And I'm like, I don't think that's a thing.
No, of course not. Yeah, no, it was great.
So yeah, awesome job from you guys. But yeah, we both kind of decided that we want to make progress in our personal armies and stuff, and not just show off like, oh, this is like the latest thing from Games Workshop.
Right, the new
so
cool stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool. And also with a lot of tournaments and stuff coming up this summer, I think that's maybe the reason why we're seeing a lot more fan stuff coming in.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to go with that. That's my theory.
Oh my gosh. So I'm now, I signed up for another tournament, folks, and I'll make sure I tell the Tabletop Titan folks too. Wait, which ones did I sign up for? I'm doing Nova, BAO. Oh, it's Sigmar only. It's in Irvine, California. It's called Old Town Throwdown. I signed up for that. If any Sigmar peeps want to visit Southern California or are already in Southern California, I've played in the Southern California Sigmar scene a little bit already. There's a buddy of mine.
The SoCal Open.
Yeah, the SoCal Open. There's a buddy of mine from up here that moved down there. I saw his name on that list. So I'm excited to get to see him. I've played him twice at 2 RTTs up here, and him and I always have insanely nasty, in a good way, games.
Yeah.
Meaning just like gritty, comes down to like the last few turns. He's a really good player. So excited to go to Old Town Throwdown. It's kind of interesting. It's like one of the only like Sigmar only events. Apparently it's been around like forever. Whenever I've gone to SoCal, and I lived in SoCal for a while too, but before Sigmar, but back when it was Old World, or like 8th edition as it was called back then. I've heard people bring this event up. So I'm kind of excited to get to go to this like weirdly
infamous
Sigmar only event.
That's cool.
Yeah. We'll see. Should be fun.
Yeah. And I know that Game Castle has the Winter War, and that's our like big Sigmar GT.
Wait, when? Where?
Yeah, it didn't happen this year because it usually happens in I want to say early January.
Oh, I see.
But we were still under different regulations and stuff like that.
Well, Sony had the one in December.
Yes. Yeah.
Christmas Clash, which he did an awesome job on.
Yeah, John usually does the Winter War stuff.
Oh, John F?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. Very curious if anyone in chat, other than Bryce, who I know, is going to BAO for Sigmar, this local legend. Nobody actually knows how to pronounce his last name. Furheim? It's not that hard, actually.
Furheim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Furheim, yeah. Local legend John Furheim is the person running this thing. John does good events.
Yeah, so if anyone's going to the BAO, John is the one who is running the Age of Sigmar tournament. And did he run the one for LVO too, or was he just there?
I don't think he did.
Okay. Yeah, I just know he was there, and I got to talk with him for like the first time since lockdowns happened and stuff.
Yeah. He's an interesting dude.
Yeah, no,
in a good way.
He's super cool. He grows really hot peppers.
He does grow really hot peppers.
does aquascaping and, you know, all this other cool stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, John does grow super hot peppers, and he sends them out, and there's all these videos of like people he knows, because he's like one of those like guys in the gaming community that knows everybody.
Yep.
All over the world, kind of like Seth, right?
Yeah.
And he sends them out, and for a while, the thing was like you got these peppers from John, and then you did these challenges where you ate them. And like all these people were like crying, you know, like they're awful. He grows like the insane ones, like Fatali, and just really crazy ones. But then one year, some of us, like people that actually cook, were like, "Hey John, can we just get like some peppers like to cook with?" So on his kind of recommendation, I dehydrated a bunch of them. You have to do it outdoors. You have to dehydrate them in a food dehydrator outdoors, or it'll like burn up your apartment.
Yeah.
Like you'll inhale it. And they're really great. I still have them. They last forever. The one that I think is the magic sauce for a cook that also wants like a little bit of heat in their food is Scotch bonnet.
Okay.
Which is like on the Schofield scale, which the scale barely makes any sense because it's like weirdly exponential. So like a jalapeno is like 35, but a Scotch bonnet's like 250,000.
Right.
And you're like, oh, okay. And then like the really hot ones are like 2 million.
Yeah.
You're like, okay.
Well, do you know what? Do you know what that is though? The Scoville.
Not exactly.
So it's the. I think it's in grams, the amount of grams of sugar it takes to neutralize the. I think it's capsaicin or whatever it is that makes pepper spicy. It's sugar. It's the amount of sugar that it takes in order to neutralize that. And so that's why it like gets to be so crazy.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, so if anyone is into super hot stuff, I know that there's like this whole like, oh, drink milk or whatever. But ice cream and like milkshakes are really...
Because of the sugar.
The sugar and the milk, yeah. But it's the sugar that you really want.
Interesting.
So peanut butter helps as well too, because there's a ton of sugar in it. Yeah.
But I think that was so like the Fatali and like this one game was called like 7 million pepper pot bean something, I forget. It was crazy, and I put it in there. I dried it up, and like every now and then I put a little bit of my food, and it's just like I don't know, like they're so hot that it's like sort of pointless. But I really think the magic number is like right around Scotch bonnet, because also Scotch bonnet's just like you taste the pepper, and you get the heat, and it's not like an amount of heat that like ruins the flavors of the rest of your food. So I'm a pretty big fan of the Scotch bonnet, actually, that level.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of heat, but like I don't want it to then detract from everything else that I'm eating. Like I don't want it to then be like, okay, this just is hot.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of, I don't know. So anyway, I get that that's not like the point. Like the point for other people is literally to like, it's like a rite of passage thing.
It's like, a challenge, yeah.
I get that, but I like heat in my food, but I like when I can still taste the food.
Yeah. Well, so one of my favorite like hot chicken places here is Smoke Eaters, and they have...
Oh yeah, you've talked about this before.
Yeah, they have a challenge, the Inferno Challenge, and I walked into that restaurant one day when someone was doing that, and I was maybe like 20 feet away from the table. Yeah. My eyes were burning, and I'm like, why would you do this? It was not something that I would then go be like, yeah, I want to do that.
If it's like actually hurting you, like that's not good.
Yeah, it's also one of those things where it's like you have to eat them without drinking anything, no milk.
Sure. Yeah.
I think it was like you can't use napkins either, so you had to have it all over your fingers, and so the more that you ate, like it just got hotter and hotter and hotter. And then it's also another thing where like you then have to, when you're done, sit there for like 30 seconds or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
Before you can then take a drink or wipe anything off or whatever. But you got a free t-shirt. I think it was great. Also, if you did it, it was free. And then you got your picture up on the wall. So yeah, I think there's like a man versus food episode about it as well
gosh.
too. But yeah, anyway, their non-Inferno stuff is delicious, but I get it. It's just not for me. So
The super hot stuff, yeah.
yeah.
In general, food challenges, I'm kind of like, I can pass on a food challenge.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Joe. Zach and Kat, thanks for the stream as always. You're welcome. I plan to paint some Imperial Knights this summer and really enjoy the Vallejo Mecha line. Any color recommendations? You've tried a couple of them, right?
Just the fluorescents.
I really like the fluorescents.
Are they all fluorescent?
No,
Okay.
they're not all fluorescents, but they are mostly all airbrush paints, I
Airbrush.
believe. Yeah. I really like the fluorescents. I really like the greens of that color. The greens and the blues of that paint line specifically always stand out to me. But I'm just really into like really bright colors. I think that's mainly the thing. I haven't tried everything in that line, but it's just a great paint line in general. I'm not typically a huge fan of Vallejo paints. I don't like how they don't want to play nice with anything else.
Seems like it sometimes, right?
Yeah, but that line I really enjoy. I think it's great.
So I will say, Meg and I kind of did like this art project together. I don't actually know if we finished this one, but we've done a few art projects together, and we put these stripes of the fluorescent color over top of like a very, honestly, it was Fenrisian gray.
Okay.
And I really like the way, like if you want to incorporate a fluorescent, I think like a good side color is like something like Fenrisian gray, like grayish blue or grayish green, or like deep, like a darker, like not too dark, but like mid-tone. I love the way like a mid-tone green, not mid-tone really, like dark, mid-dark. You know what I mean?
Mid-dark, yeah.
Looks with, and kind of mute it, like grade a little bit. Looks
So desaturated.
desaturated, looks with fluorescent, like
Yeah.
gray, like a medium gray mixed with fluorescent yellow.
Mixed with or
Not
or
mixed with, but like interacting with,
Oh,
like
okay.
stripes or something like that.
Okay.
I think it's a really awesome look. That and like, yeah, just like, like a deep medium green mixed with maybe like pink. Not mixed again, but like interacting like
Yeah.
with like a fluorescent pink or orange, something like that. Yeah, I'm big into that kind of look.
I am very much into mixing fluorescent paints with other paints in order to bring out the intensity of them.
Like mixing.
Yeah, mixing. Like if I had the fluorescent magenta here, I would be mixing that with the blue and, trying to make it more intense. I'm a big fan of that. If you really want it to be like super fluorescent, on top of like a dark color, then definitely paint white down first. I think that's pretty important because they're not very opaque, and I think that's totally fine. I don't have an issue with the paint not being like really opaque.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
I think
which one did you say? Magenta?
yeah.
I think I have it right here.
Yeah. Then yeah, I would 100% be mixing that.
There you go.
Awesome. But yeah, I like mixing the fluorescent colors with other colors in order to bring out the intensity of them. I think it adds a lot. Because sometimes when you're working with hobby paints and model paints and stuff, a lot of them tend to have these like really almost white bases to them because they are designed to have immediate coverage.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and so sometimes that dilutes the color intensity a little bit.
Okay, and these don't. These are the opposite of that. Like
Yeah.
that's what you're saying. These literally, as you're saying, I've noticed that these actually, to some degree, struggled to get good coverage. Honestly, they're better through an airbrush.
Yeah, they're great through an airbrush. They're great on top of light stuff. So what I've seen a couple people do is airbrush like a white ink where they want to put the fluorescence onto. And then just put the fluorescence on top of that. That's totally fine.
Oh, I see.
Especially if you want to get it like well blended in.
Wait, a white ink, like AK titanium white?
Like your favorite AK titanium white. Yeah, I've also seen people do like pro acryl titanium white as well too. That's really thin. But it's essentially very similar to, you know, AK titanium white ink.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah. I hope that helps. Just us talking about the fluorescent colors from the Mecha line. I like them a lot. But I know that AK has a fluorescent line. I know also that scale 76, 75, 70, I don't know. 70 something has a fluorescent line as well too. I haven't played with enough of them in order to have a favorite of the fluorescents. But I really like the Mecha ones, and I really like the AK ones.
Yeah, in a second when I see Joe how far I'm getting on my Bloodwrack Medusa, I'm gonna bust out and try to recreate kind of like the color mix that I'm into with a few of these with an airbrush real quick. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Like the fluorescent paints are just, they're a little iffy. And I also want to try Kat's thing of doing it over top of white. And I actually am moving pretty quick on her, so we'll see. I think I probably will have time.
Yeah, but the gold turned out good, right?
It did.
Do you feel like you need to then go back in with your contrast?
You know what? I think I might. I was looking at it and trying to decide. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's, yeah, honestly, like, I think it's a little bit because I was maybe not that technically proficient with my application.
Oh, you went a little bit too heavy.
I think my application is the issue, not necessarily the look. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to see if I can clean it up, and then if I have to go back one more time with the gold, then I have to go back one more time. But I actually don't mind that because oftentimes that kind of makes like cool layering.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see.
Texture.
Texture is a good word. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's snakeskin, so it should be a little bit textured, but also look smooth and not be textured, you know? It's just a little bit of column A, column B.
Yeah, kind of like the wild stuff nature does, like when we talk about like trees not really being brown in their trunks, blah, blah, blah. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
they're a mishmash of a bunch of different colors and a lot of grays, and yeah.
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 I like that about painting natural stuff, and
Shoot.
I think if it has to go that way, then cool. But yeah, I'm definitely going to go back over it here in a second with the airbrush. I'm finishing up her Whisper Claw here.
Is that her weapon?
This is one of her weapons.
Oh, okay. I was like, but what's a trident called? Just
That's
a trident?
called the Bloodrack Spear.
It's not a trident at all, even though it looks like a trident.
It's like a, yeah, I guess.
Interesting.
Yeah. it is interesting. In general, one of my favorite things about this army is its sort of antiquity, like cult vibe. I've always kind of thought of them as having like a Roman cult vibe.
Yeah.
But she's clearly a little bit more like Minoan and stuff, like, which makes sense because it's a Medusa, right?
Yeah.
So a little bit of just an ever so slightly different like vibe from her compared to the rest of the army, which is kind of fun.
Is she a character?
She is a character, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just one. You just have one. And then you can have one that rides a big thing, a cart.
Now, is the big snake person also part of this army?
Marathi is, yeah. I have to get working on her very soon. Actually.
Is she always a snake person?
So there's a little Marathi and a big Marathi. So actually, like, the thing that's going on with her is when you play, you get both.
Oh, okay.
And it's both are her.
That was gonna be my next question.
But the big one is like her
Transform.
hate and spite and vanity incarnate. And so like the little one is like a little monster, is like a little wizard caster.
Okay.
Leader. And then then like the big one is like all of the worst parts of her already pretty bad personality manifested into a giant monster that just goes and like murders things.
I see. Yeah. I forgot to grab their skin color, which sucks, but it's fine. I have it right here.
You have it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I think going back with the turquoise is good.
Yeah.
This is actually Ethermatic Blue, which is like this Citadel contrast. Yeah, I think it's good.
Now, I don't know if you'll know the answer to this, but because I know that a lot of the Citadel paints, their names come from the lore.
Yes.
What does this come from? Like
Ethermatic?
Yeah.
I think this is Caradon Overlords have the like space dwarves, the cyberpunky dwarves in Sigmar. I think it's like something of theirs, like correct me if I'm wrong, guys, like the stuff they actually kind of eat. It's like this weird like ether gold stuff. I think it has something, it's related to them somehow, I think. Caradon Overlords, yeah. I don't always know, but I think I know that one.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting of like, well, because like, you know, Abaddon Black is obviously Abaddon, but I get it. But also some of it, I'm like, where does this name come from?
Right. It's an interesting way to name a paint line, right?
Lore based, yeah.
And it's like not always super cool, but like once you get into it, and you know, and like you're like, once you've been painting for a while, you just know Moot Green is like, Moot Green's Moot Green. Like, you got to get Moot Green, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's also like a way for someone like me who doesn't really know a whole lot of the lore to pick up on it a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you again, Rudy Picardo. Kat, I saw your awesome work on the Megadroth skeleton you worked on weeks ago. Can you share your thought processes or sources of inspiration when adding gamer grass, flora, tufts to your basing? I am bad at hobby horticulture.
Hobby horticulture.
I love that. That's amazing. Yeah, so a lot of my inspiration comes from me loving it, I guess. I'm a huge green thumb. I love plants just in general, and so if I can add it to something, then I will add it to something. I have a million plants everywhere, and it's become a thing where now I don't have any room at home, and I'm trying to prevent myself from bringing it into the stores. But yeah, so a lot of what my inspiration is can I put grass there? And if the answer is yes, then the answer is that I'm going to put grass there. But I'm big on textures, and so mixing different textures is something that I think looks natural and looks good. And so I'll oftentimes get the really tall gamer grass and mix it in with the shorter ones, because that's also one thing that I really like about gamer grass is that they make different sizes
in the same like color.
In the same color, and so if you want to match, you know, oh, I have the dark green on this, but I want it to be a little bit taller, then that's great. If you don't want to then make your own tufts with the super long grasses that we've used before from Woodland Scenics, because that can be a little bit fiddly with like gluing them down and everything. But I'm just big on height and texture. If you are struggling with it in any way, shape, or form, I highly recommend getting like a set of just different colors.
We like yeah, we've used the dry steppe.
Yeah.
And we've used the autumn one. You said there's a spring one or something?
There's a spring or a green meadow one or something.
That's just more green.
Yeah, it's mostly just greens and stuff, but they're all different colors. Sometimes they're different heights as well too. I don't think they ever include the big 12 millimeter ones in their sets. But one way that you can kind of force yourself to be good at hobby horticulture is to get a set and to put one color down and then kind of rotate it out of like, okay, I'm not going to touch this color again until I put the rest of these 3 colors on here somewhere, and then rotate it back in. And so that way you know that you're switching between different colors. You are being conscious of using different colors in general. Because what I find that a lot of people do is we'll just use like one color and they all just kind of blend in with each other. There's that. There's
it's not a good sorry to interrupt, Kat, but it's not a good thing to like have a favorite color on, right? Like you don't want to have a favorite color tuft that you like disproportionately overuse compared to the other ones.
Yeah, and I find that like I really like super light greens and stuff, and so I will generally skew to that a little bit more. And so like if you look through like my tuft bag, there's a lot of the same color. I think honestly, it's over there, but there's a lot of the same color, but it's all different heights. And then I kind of have to force myself to use different colors, which is why I like using the sets, because then I can just be like, okay, cool, I'm going to use this other thing, and be very conscious about choosing, okay, I put this color down already, I like it a lot, but I'm going to force myself to mix in something else. And it might look off at first, because like mixing like a really dark color or like a dry grass with like a super lush, vibrant green one might not be the best looking initially, but when you take a step back and you've done it all over, it looks natural, and you don't then get this whole like something's off here feeling.
Right.
Uncanny valley feeling when you're doing stuff like that.
Uncanny valley?
Yeah. It's when it's like your danger sense almost of like, this doesn't feel right, something's off here. And you can get that a lot if you, like if a figure's running over something and they should have a shadow and they don't have a shadow, then that feels a little bit off. If there should be a variety of different plants and colors,
right,
and there isn't a variety of different plants and colors, then that feels a little bit off. And it's usually something that you don't consciously notice. It's just a feeling of like there's something weird. Yeah.
That's called Uncanny Valley?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean it's called? Like that's just like that's the name for the phenomena?
Yeah, that's the name of the feeling of like there's something wrong here.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot of those recently, like Mandela effect and staring into the void, like all these weird phenomenons.
Call of the void.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call of the void. Yeah.
Call of the void is when you get like intrusive thoughts like not to do something that's not good for you.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be a call of the void. Yeah.
Interesting.
There's also other ones where if you ever see like a trail like off that's like clearly made by just people walking on it a bunch of times. It's not like a set trail that's supposed to be there. That's called a desire path, and that's interesting too. And I like looking up the names of these
multiple
things.
people wanted to go somewhere.
Yeah, it's usually like a shortcut, like a thing that we're like, oh, the sidewalk makes a perfect corner, but it's like on grass, and then you have like this like diagonal thing. Yeah. And if there's like ever a path that goes through the grass that's clearly just worn down by people walking through it, that's called the desire
that's like
path.
That's like a feedback loop, right? Because like one person does it,
and
then every time you see it, you're like, well, other people have been doing it, so I guess I can do it.
Yeah, it's I learned the name of this like a long time ago, and then I just have a really fond childhood memory of at one of my aunt's houses, her backyard butted up against this like field, and my cousins and I used to hop the fence all the time, and I'm like, oh, let's make a desire path.
Oh my gosh.
And we thought we could make one in a day. You can't. No.
Interesting.
So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Caldorf. Assembled my FDM printer today and hoping to print some terrain for my local game store. Zach, have you looked/checked out any of the narrative stuff for Warcry? Thank you.
No, not really. I haven't. I haven't gone into Warcry yet. I have to tell you guys, I have not enjoyed Kill Team. I've not really ever enjoyed a skirmish game that much.
Oh, really? Why?
I don't know why. I think there's this kind of problem with it for me that I don't get to use as many of my toys.
Oh, okay.
And like, look, we've talked about this a lot. Like, just like the bandwidth to hobby and do all this stuff, and then like show up with some friends and play a game that's not Sigmar or 40K. I'm kind of like, is that really going to happen? Like, now it's going to happen if I'm playing like board games, right? I've kind of said this before, like why I don't play D&D, why I don't like, because I'd love to play D&D. It's so fun. Or like I'd love to play Necromunda. Like I don't play these games because like I don't have time, and then when I do have time to play a game, I want to keep
play.
I'd rather focus a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I'd rather focus. I'd rather just play a lot of Sigmar. There's already different armies. You know what I mean? Like you could already never have the same Sigmar game twice in your life. Now add in 40K. Like there's just so much going on, right? So Warcry, yeah. Like here's the situation I'd play Warcry. I would play Warcry if I was like, I don't know, a 9-to-5 tech worker or something. And there were like some friends at my job, and we had like a flexible job, and it was like cool, like out here in Silicon Valley, like nerd stuff is cool, right? So like if I had like some buddies at like my tech job, and I like went over to a table from like 11:45 to 1:15, and we all played some Warcry games or Kill Team, and like got into it that way, that's like how I would do it.
Okay.
But in this rich nerd environment I live in, where we're playing, like we have all scaled up as much as possible here. That's why we're a streaming channel.
Right.
We've all scaled up as much as possible. We have every 40K army almost. We have a ton of Sigmar armies. We have all this stuff. We've all pooled our resources, and we have all that. So like I'm never in a position where I'm like, let me play this little skirmish game. I think that there could be a situation in my life when I get back into it. Meg and I played Kill Team for a little while. During lockdown, we played a lot of Aeronautica. Again, that was a very specific situation. I was in lockdown with my wife.
Right.
And like we played Aeronautica. Like it was fun. So look, I'm never going to say never, Caldorf. I probably should try it, especially as a big Sigmar fan. But I haven't yet.
Yeah, because it's interesting. So since you've played Kill Team,
yeah,
and you have a little bit more perspective on that, do you think that it would be a good starting point for someone who eventually wants to get into 40K?
I do, actually. Or like Warcry, if you want to get into Sigmar or whatever, yeah. Absolutely. Yes. But, right, so you're hitting the nail on the head. Like, that's not the path I haven't gone that path. Those paths weren't really options when I was younger, right? Like,
right.
So,
right.
But nowadays, yeah, absolutely. It's like, it's great. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, because I wonder if that would be a good starting point for like Warcry and Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
Because I think that's generally why they started, hopefully. At least that was my
I think so.
thought process.
Yeah, I think so, right?
It's smaller, it's quicker in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need a lot less.
I did play a lot of Necromunda as a kid, and my friends and I played Necromunda every Friday night. We went up the street. I was fortunate enough to live next to my best friend growing up, and he had 2 younger brothers. So the 4 of us would go up like the street to this other kid who had like his friend over that we knew, and like the 6 of us would play like Necromunda.
Right.
And it was super cool. And that was kind of what you're saying. Like it kept me into wargaming at a time when like I couldn't really like necessarily afford, like I'd get like $100 like from Christmas or something, and go to like the game store, and it'd be like, wow, it's expensive to buy a whole Dark Elf army.
Yeah, I can get 1 box.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a little bit cheaper.
It was cheaper
at that time, but yeah, I get you. Because that's essentially how I got into Conquest. Was I started with First Blood, which is their skirmish version,
right? And
then I was like, oh, this is a lot of fun. I really like these models, and I'm buying a bunch of models. I might as well just play the big version.
Yeah. Agree. The skirmish games are cool. I also I do have to say that I in our club we did play both the last 2 previous iterations of Kill Team. Honestly, excuse me, the last 3 before this one. And I will have to say that I've not ever really loved a version of Kill Team either. I during my playing of those Kill Teams, I almost always was Tau, and it seemed really hard to like hit things and shooting. Like in the last version, I remember like my whole army shot and was very bad in melee, but they hit on 4s and like you're always hitting on -1. So I'm like, cool, this army that shoots is like always trying to get roll 5s. It's like, okay, you roll 1 dice. Oh, didn't get a 5. My turn. Like, cool, my guy shoots you on a 3 and now he's charging you. And I always feel like I like never quite was good at it.
Oh, I see.
I don't necessarily need to be good at a game to like it, but I need to feel like I have a chance.
That's fair.
And I remember being like, wait, why do I only hit on 5s? And anyway, I have not played the new Kill Team. I've not played any of the Warcry stuff, Caldorf. I probably should.
Fair, yeah. And for those of you who saw me completely drop my model.
What happened? Where'd it go?
In my
web palette?
Green.
Oh, no.
Yes, I 100% dipped my model in my water and then wiped it off.
Oh, people were like, hey, did that just happen?
No.
Well, you haven't scrolled down.
I'm gonna call it out now, just in case people like say anything.
It's really funny.
Yes, that happened.
All day Sunday and Monday, most of the Monday and Tuesday, I've been painting 40 witch elves, and I can't tell you the amount of times I've dropped one onto the wet palette. No, I probably could. It's probably between 5 and 10 over the past 3 days. But every single time, she's like bounced out and not gotten like a drop of paint on it. So I've been very lucky.
Yeah, and it fell completely in this puddle of green, but it's okay. I got it off. It's totally fine. So I'm just gonna call it out before anyone says anything.
Well, hey, before we read Sarah Esco's, we actually we had a little bit of mail time at Hobby Times. We almost never have mail time, but we had mail time. So Kat's holding up here what we got. This person was super awesome. And yeah, still a J Killa. This is a user in Discord name. And so what they sent was cleaner.
Yeah, actually.
This guy reached out to me a little while ago and he was like, oh, hey, I have this cleaner, and I sort of forgot like what the story behind this is, but it's actually, well, I'll read it here. Dear Tabletop Titans, words cannot express how grateful I and we in the community are with everything you guys do to entertain and teach us. So I use monetary products to express it. A small token to show my appreciation. Some brush cleaner for your hobbying needs, one for each of you. My dad created this formula originally for the craft industry, and I've been using it ever since I got the painting side of the hobby for cleaning and softening my brushing, making them last a lot longer than they probably should for how badly I treat them. He points out, Bridger, it is not a Kool-Aid. Do not drink it. Hashtag no dice, Bridger. John, you are a fiend. I hope this helps you get more into painting. Adrian, don't forget to take a step back and breathe. You're doing a hell of a lot better than you think you are. And Zach, I'm super excited to get your feedback on this product. Thank you for helping making painting a lot less of a challenge and so much more enjoyable. Thank you all so much for all the laughs and love. Yeah, and then gave us information on how to get this. And Pack Pro Cleaner, manufactured by. We should, you know what? I should put this somewhere, maybe in the Discord and Hobby Titans talk. So I've been using it all weekend. I took a bottle home and was using it there, and it's really nice. It's super nice. I actually don't. I think I mentioned to Still Killa J that I don't actually love liquid cleaner. Typically, I'll use it, but I like the physical thing where I can drag my brush across it. But I was using this all weekend. What's really good at actually is it's done this on a few of my brushes, and then I showed you one here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It actually is returned like, there's no bleach in it, but it's almost like it's like gotten pink and like reds out of white.
It's very good because of it. I think because of its liquid properties. I think it's very good at penetrating deeper into your brush than like what the hard brush soaps
I see.
are.
Yes, that's probably true. I soaked a few brushes in it, and I did try through an airbrush. The issue with it going through an airbrush, it's okay, it works. You could probably dilute it going through an airbrush. It's a little thick.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a problem with that. Like paint is thick too, but you could definitely dilute it using it through an airbrush. Probably like 1-to-1, honestly, through an airbrush. Like you would just go longer. The other thing, it's not really a big problem, but there is like some sort of detergent or something in it. Something that causes foaming action.
Yeah.
Which is fine for and it's actually also fine for an airbrush. Like I'll use it through an airbrush here later in a second, guys. I'll show you. It is fine. It's just what happens is I squirt into a toothbrush. So I'm like doing this and I'll like squirt into the toothbrush like that. And when you do it with this stuff, it just goes. I'll show it. It's pretty funny. It's not really a problem. It's just that it's sudsy, right? So you get suds when you do that. Other than that, though, it's been great. Thank you so much. Super fun. Brush cleaner's a pretty legit thing to send to us. I'll be honest. We go through a lot of brush cleaner.
Yeah, no, it was super awesome. That was greatly appreciated. We do a lot of painting.
Yeah.
Both on stream and just in the studio in general.
Yes.
So we got a lot of brushes to clean. So yeah, thank you.
We do go through a lot of brush cleaner. Yeah, awesome.
And that was super nice. Thank you for the letter. It was very sweet. And yeah, the guys super loved it. So awesome. Thank you, Saresco. Zach, as a non-Bay Area native, what are your thoughts on the hyphy movement?
Okay, hold on. So first of all, Sarah Esco. I actually met Sarah Esco this past Thursday. Super cool. We've been admiring his painting for some time. It was awesome to get to meet you at the Fault Line 40K event in Guild House. Really cool. Chatting with him about doing some painting. Really exciting stuff. Love his style. His style on Hansi Cat is like right up yours and mine's alley. Alley. It's very bright. Bright. Really cool stuff. What is he talking about? You're a Bay Area native.
You don't know what hyphy is?
No. What is he talking about?
I just feel so called out right now.
You're a Bay Area
I think
native.
we're also a major nerd. I don't think I'm qualified to talk about what the hyphy.
Wait, do you know what he's talking about? No, you don't know?
Not really, no. I might have known, like, probably not off the top of my head. I think this is something that you should probably look up on, like, Urban Dictionary or something.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
He's, listen, I just met this guy. If this is, oh, my God. All right, I'm going to look this up on air. We're going to see. If this is a weird thing, I'm not going to be mad.
So it has more to do with...
Wait, so you do... Are you messing with me? Do you know what he's talking about?
I mean, I know, like, music that goes along with it. I don't think I can define it. But it's... Oh, yeah, I was going to be like, oh, yeah, it's like stuff that came out when I was in, like, high school or middle school.
Oh, it's Oakland. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's like the big, like,
Late
party,
90s.
fizz face stuff, like ghostwriting, just stuff like that. Did you guys get none of this you're from Philadelphia, right?
No, I'm closer from Baltimore.
Yeah, I guess it was like a huge thing here, and I don't know.
Bryce knows, of course. He's from the Bay Area. Yeah, I don't know. Look,
I think Bryce would actually be the perfect age for something like that as well, too. It's a little bit older than me.
Okay, yeah, this is like my age. Bryce and I are like very similar in age. It says like late 90s, which is when I was in like high school.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know. Here's what I'll say. Megan, my wife, who's from Southern California, like was shocked when I didn't know who Selena was. And like, not only on the East Coast did most of us not know who Selena was, I don't even know if they played that movie. That movie was like the Jennifer Lopez movie. I don't even know if that was that widespread, like ever. Like I just think that Selena was not a thing.
Okay.
Honestly, outside of like areas with high
Latino,
Latino populations to begin with, and like it wasn't like in areas like California, it was very diverse. Like everybody loved Selena, right? But outside, like I had no idea who she was. Sarah Esco, I'm going to come back to hyphies in a second, but so I remember that, and then I remember like being surprised. So I did know Sublime. Sublime was like from SoCal, but they like spread, right, a little bit more. Like where I was from, everybody was super into the band Live. That's like more East Coasty music. It's like grungier a bit, like, but not like West Coast grunge.
Yeah, but so did any like Bay Area rap, I guess, really what it would be, make it over?
No. And I like hip hop and rap. I've been listening to it like I was a rural white kid loving hip hop and yeah. So no, really, I don't, Sariska, know what you're talking about. I'll have to look into it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd help you, but it's like just a little bit too old. Like maybe if I was maybe like 5 years older or something, it would be something that I could define.
There's like a version of Kat and I between the two of us where time and geography are just not in your favor with this.
Yeah, there's no Venn diagram overlapping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
and I have a lot of older cousins, and a lot of my family lives in the Bay Area, but that was more like their thing, and I was a very big nerd, and I preferred to read and stay inside for the most part.
Yeah, I don't know. And then, you know, since I've lived in the Bay Area, which is actually about 10 years now, I lived like less than a year in Daly City for like a minute.
Okay.
And then the rest of it's been in San Jose. So I've not been in really, I've had friends. I had a good friend who lived in Oakland. You know, I go up to the city, I go up to Oakland sometimes. I haven't been to Oakland in a little while now, if I'm honest. Or
it'd be more like an East Bay, but also it depends on what side of the towns you live in, kind of thing. Because Daly City would work, Vallejo would work, Fremont, Hayward, Oakland.
No, I haven't really been. Like I mean, I know these places and I've been there to all of them, but I just haven't been like in the East Bay enough.
Fair. Yeah, I think it might have just been something missed, because like it's also a lot of like, yeah, that's so weird because it's just such a huge part of my childhood.
Yeah.
And stuff, but
geography's crazy. It is
cool.
crazy because you think you live in a very globalized world, but some stuff remains highly local. And to be honest with you, two things that just like always bridge cultural gaps and are exciting for people to share with each other are food and music. And those two things, I love both of those. I love learning about them from different like localities, but they also have a tendency to be insular. Like Megan had never had a soft shell crab sandwich, and it was like super gross for her because it was like eating a tarantula in between two pieces of bread, right? It's like the crab we have in Maryland.
Soft shell crab sandwich.
Yeah, so like we have a blue crab. It's called blue crab instead of Dungeness crab.
Yeah,
so
I mean, I've had soft shell crab like sushi rolls and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
I've never been like, I want this bigger.
No, you just take the whole crab, put it in between two pieces of like usually soft wheat bread, and lettuce and tomato, like good Maryland summer tomato, and just like mayo, and that's it. And like cut it in half, and like that's it. That's the meal. It's like so good.
Awful.
Its legs are sticking out of the bread. It's very gross if you're not used to it, right? Like, but that kind of stuff like doesn't transfer, right? And then when you go and you find it later in life, you're like, oh, okay, like, what? I loved this so much as a kid, and
yeah, I mean, it's also a thing because I'm half Asian, and so like that's a big part of my life growing up, of like things that are normal to me but not normal to anybody else.
Eating seafood?
Just like eating just different cultural foods in general, or like how we eat, or you know, mannerisms inside someone else's home and stuff like that. Yeah. So I get that. It's just I just thought music would
translate more.
Yeah, it would just travel a little bit more.
And sometimes it does, right? Like I mean, like ska came from SoCal, that traveled. Grunge like Nirvana and stuff, that came from Seattle. That traveled well. But a lot of this stuff just doesn't. Like, it's kind of weird.
Now, having been here for so long, because I know it hasn't exactly fully gone away. It hasn't been as big anymore. Do you listen to the radio?
No.
At all? Oh, okay.
No, I don't. I do not listen to the radio at all. I listen to like Spotify, and that's it. I think maybe Megan listened to the radio a little bit, like when we first moved here, like it's your drive to work. But no, like not a lot of people listen to the radio, right? Not to be weird, but do people listen to the radio a lot? Like,
probably not. Like, I think it's definitely something that's less and less common nowadays. But like when you first moved here,
2011, yeah. Yeah, it's literally been, well, it'll be 10 years in September, I think, actually. Or August is when we got here.
So I guess to answer your question, Ceresco, he has no opinion of it, really.
Sorry to say, Ceresco.
I guess that would be an answer to your question of like it never really made it over there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll look into it. I'll check it out. I'm wondering, as a movement, it sounds like it's not like it's necessarily around anymore. We had this thing called Baltimore Bounce. You can look that up. That's kind of that was like club hip hop music. That was a thing. And I remember like it's called Baltimore Bounce. So like I remember having this sense that it was from Baltimore. But I don't think I ever thought about how like it came up one time when I was living in southern Louisiana, and like nobody knew who it was. Nobody knew what it was. And I remember being, oh, I guess that makes sense. It's called Baltimore Bounce.
I don't know. I just feel like my mind just got blown just now. I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah. It was such a huge music movement here. Yeah, I don't know.
I know. I think Megan felt the same when she found out I had no idea who Selena was.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, but I was in middle school around that time, and so it wasn't something that my parents were like, yeah, this is okay for you to listen to. Yeah, it was more like in sync and stuff like that. Like, because that definitely was like a global thing.
Yeah,
sure.
Of course.
Yeah. But I don't know. It just had such a huge impact on like the rap and hip hop.
Sure.
That I don't know. Yeah, that's crazy.
Sure. Oh my gosh. Very interesting. I do like hearing. I don't know. It's interesting to hear about like stuff that like the local stuff. Normally it's food for me, but like music stuff is kind of interesting too.
Yeah, and I like, well, because as someone who studied music,
yeah,
but that's probably not the kind of music
you
that
don't
you studied.
like.
Yeah.
Well, like when you study music, you study like I study music theory and composition, so like this always like kind of rubs people the wrong way. But like most popular genres of music, like rap, country, hip hop,
right.
pop. Like they use like a limited degree of like what's available, like tool wise and in theory, because it just kind of gets funky sounding or a little bit interesting or whatever. It's not what it's about, right? It's about dancing. It's about a cool beat and stuff like that. So you tend to not really like go deep into those genres of music because you're like, okay, they use like a tonic and a subdominant and a dominant chord and maybe like a 2 chord. It's just like they don't use a lot of stuff. So you don't really like spend a lot of time in grad school like doing that, right? Honestly, even by that time, you're not really like looking even at like Beethoven anymore, stuff like that. Like,
right.
You kind of are, but it's a different function, right? It's like art versus function. Actually, I just, all popular music is, I always call it future folk music.
Future folk?
Yeah, it's just folk music.
Uh-huh.
In the future.
Fair. Yeah, it's fair.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think my taste in music has changed a lot, but it pretty much Pretty much not, actually. Like, I don't know. I'll listen to anything for the most part. If I like it, then I like it. I think what I tend to gravitate to is like heavy metal, though. So.
That's such a cat thing to say.
Yeah, it's if I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna purposefully put something on and listen to it, and it's not an audiobook.
Yeah.
Or a podcast, that's probably gonna be.
It's actual music. Yeah, I have to say, I literally today as I left, Megan was playing like something I can't remember, but I don't like that, and I don't like a lot of like AC/DC stuff. I tend to not like that. Like, I don't know. That whole genre, in whatever time period and whatever its era it's from. I'm almost always kind of like, it's not my thing. Like if it's something a guy who rides a Harley would listen to, I usually find I'm not like into it.
Oh, wow, okay.
Like I'm not into Harley rider.
Harley music, yeah.
I'm just not into the whole Harley thing in general, I'll be honest with you guys. So if it's music that would happen at a biker bar, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna pass on the biker bar music.
Interesting.
I know.
Yeah, I just feel like this topic got very, I don't know.
Controversial.
Yeah, there you go. That would be the word for it, right? But it is cool, like just seeing, because a lot of my like close friends are people that I met in like middle school and high school and stuff, and so we all grew up listening to the same thing.
What's it called? Fizzy? Hi-fi,
yeah.
Fizzy?
Fizzy, well, no, it's this face, but yeah, fizzy.
Fizzy?
Fizzy?
Fizzy hip-hop?
Yeah, fizzy hip-hop, yeah.
Sorry, Sarah, I gotta do some research. Non-Barrier native here, and...
I think really what this calls for is like a playlist to be put together for Zach to do some research and, have that playlist be
sure.
dropped in Discord. I think that would be great.
I would totally listen to some fizzy. Hi-fi. Hippie?
Some yep, mm-hmm.
Which one is it?
Hi-fi.
Hi-fi, okay.
Now I feel like you should have read that out. That comment out, and then it would have been cool to see how you pronounce that.
Hippie, hi-fi, fizzy. It was, I didn't read it? I thought I did read it.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well,
I love it.
Thank you, Sarah, for the support and the interesting topic of conversation. Speaking of topic of conversation, we did have another interesting topic of conversation.
Yes.
Right. So not fan stuff. We're gonna do fan stuff.
Probably right after, yeah.
Yeah, don't get mad at us. But Kat and I decided we wanted to start kind of cataloging things we liked, like we saw in the hobby world, and we're like, that's cool, and then share that with you guys. So we did that.
Yeah. With our
new segment, Stuff We Like.
Like.
Okay, so today we had like an Instagram take.
Shoot.
Okay, this is super cool. We were thinking about maybe doing this on the stream one time, but we want to kind of focus more on things that we are actually working on and not just like randomly do a thing. And honestly, we did a big, Adrian, might have heard Adrian say, we did a big, Kat, Megan, Lindsay, and myself, did a big studio clean while the guys were gone and kind of reorganized the studio. And honestly, like to just make some of this stuff, the problem is like, then where does it go?
Yeah.
And I hate having just stuff laying around. Like I'm not a fan of stuff laying around. So rather than sit around and be like, when will we do this? When will we do this? We figured we'd just show you guys and you can do it. I'd like to work this in some terrain. Okay, so this Red Eagle studio, super cool on Instagram. Definitely follow them if you get a chance. And what they did is they built like these, Seth was telling us what they're called. Freezes. Which like it's like FRISE. You're the art person, right? Like
Google.
You went to school for this, didn't you?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
No, I think you'd be really surprised over what I went to school for.
Oh, actually, what did you go to? What? Now
aeronautical engineering.
Wait, really? Yeah. Shut up.
I know.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, my life has taken a change, but I am happy, and I wasn't before. So, yeah.
Whoa, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So anyway, now you guys know. But yeah, no, these were super cool. I thought it was very interesting, and I also can't find the mouse on the
next
screen.
picture is so click on the and then click on the top. Yeah. Okay, and then the next picture is a finished one. Super cool, right? Like, so you can tell that they did this basically with bits that they had. And Tyranid bits are actually very good for this because a lot of Tyranid bits, if you guys have ever gone through Tyranid bits, especially the big monsters, the faces are like split in half. And so he pretty much made like these Roman style friezes with this and made this epic door. This is so cool. Yeah, I want to do something like this at some point for a board that I'm redoing. You guys have heard me talk about the Mossy City board, and you might not have seen it in a long time on Titans, and that's because it has been in, it's been actually here in a pile.
In a bin.
And it needs to get redone so I can get back on the table. When I do, I actually am interested in making some of these and putting them on like pink foam walls, and just having like big ones on walls. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And I think it's great that we did the big studio cleanup because we found a lot of bits.
We found a lot of models.
Yeah.
And bits.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, these shelves, like over to your right, over here, yeah. There's like little drawers or like little cabinets underneath them. They're filled with model kits.
There's like several Gargants down there.
Yeah, there's
some
other shelves on another studio set that are filled with model things. So yeah, there's a lot. And this next one over here was something that I
super
found.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, and if you go and follow this person or find this post on their Instagram, they actually have a whole tutorial in the description of this picture. But I thought it was really cool. I also thought that they then gloss varnished it at the end, but those are actually painted on like light reflection.
Yes, it looks very gloss varnished.
Yeah, it looks super gloss, and I was like, oh, that's cool that they put like a gloss thing on it. No, it's like painted on. But I thought this was really neat. And when we painted Eldar, we did not do something like this, but I think it'd be really cool. It's almost like Chaos Eldar in a way. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're really cool. We used the decals. We kind of took like a get it done approach.
Yeah.
But this is the other avenue, and I love it. This is the avenue of really sinking some time into a Wraith army.
Yeah.
Which is a really good, cool, in general. I think like Wraiths are great for this. Yeah, super cool.
Yeah. This is something else that I found.
Oh yeah.
This was just a cool kit bash, honestly, in my opinion. And I'm also a huge fan of like putting flock on everything. But yeah, I mean, for those of you who have mentioned a couple times that you're going to be painting up some Chaos Knights.
Yeah.
If you have any cool bits, slap that stuff on there.
Yeah. This is really cool. This is a Stonehorn too. So somebody made a Thunder Tusk and sold off the Stonehorn part. And yeah, it looks like it's like raised up out of the ground. It's very cool.
Yeah, there's a bunch of pictures. We only put one in here, but it's of a bunch of different angles, and I think they did it to a couple other models. But I liked it one part for the kit bash and another part for just putting flock on a knight model. I think that's really cool. It also kind of sort of reminds me of Castle in the Sky by Studio Ghibli. The little like iron giant looking guys, and some of them had cute little like moss growing on them. So yeah.
Don't know at all what you're talking about.
That's okay.
Should I know? Is it like an anime?
Yes.
Okay.
Have you seen Spirited Away?
Yes.
Yeah, it's by the same guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it's just another one of his movies. It was also mine. I think the rest of them are mine, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a super huge fan of like blood splatter, but this guy did a actually like really easy to follow tutorial on it, and made it look like there's like gross bits coming off of it and stuff. He used this thing that I've never heard of called Uhu gel or UHU gel. And I've never heard of that before. So
Did you look it up?
I did not, no.
Oh yeah, we need to look it up.
Yeah, it looked like glue. Like the bottle that it came in, it looked like a glue thing. But apparently I think a lot of people use it to make like slime drips and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that was really interesting. And I think I'm gonna pick a bottle up and just play with it and try to make some slime stuff. So for Rudy, if you're looking for like some slime drips, I think maybe you'd want to try that out. I think that'd be cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's probably
Yeah.
got a lot of that in his near future.
Yeah. And that's it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was us doing essentially what we normally do and scroll through Instagram and take screenshots of everything, but we decided to share it with you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that'll be something that we'll do probably moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just stuff we like.
There's always cool stuff, and we need to share it more. It's cool stuff. How you doing, by the way? How's this guy coming out?
Oh, it's coming out. I'm just slapping colors on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like cleanup work that I do on these guys, which is a lot of glazing and stuff, which just comes later and it just takes time. So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get through what's easy, essentially. But yeah, the bone is so fun.
Painting bone.
Yeah.
Painting bone is pretty cool. I'm very excited to paint an all bone army soon. Maybe fall. I don't know. Oh my god, there's so much stuff coming out, guys.
What army would that be? The Bone Reapers?
Yeah, I have them. They're all assembled. I was actually going to be doing them, and then GW was like, oh no, daughters are coming out.
Yeah, that's
Which
fair.
surprised everybody because the book is not that, their current book is like barely a year old. So they got like quick turnaround on their books.
Yeah, I find that they do that a lot, actually.
Yeah,
with certain lines.
Space Marines, they do that often.
In Chaos Space Marines.
No,
Really?
Oh my gosh, guys. Chaos players are gonna be like furious with you right now.
Oh no.
Well, they get a lot of versions. Like here's Death Guard, whatever. But like actually, like the Chaos Space Marines themselves, like I think, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Have Space Marines had 3 books since the last time Chaos Space Marines have had a book? I think, yeah, it's bad.
So are they ever going to do the smaller little books, or are like I think Blood Angels got their own book?
Oh, like the supplements.
Yeah. Do they do
I don't know.
that
For Chaos?
for anybody else except for Space Marines?
They have.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Chat, help me out. Who has that happened for? Was that Yanari or like that? Who's had a supplement other than Space Marines? Some Chaos have at some point. I think you're right. But for the most part, Farsight Enclaves for Tau, I think had that at one point. Yeah, they have, but overall, not as much, no. Oh my gosh, what were we talking about? I feel like it was important. Important for us, as far as we're concerned.
Well, you were talking about
the
that
book.
you wanted to do the Bone Reapers.
Right.
Yeah.
Honestly, just because I thought they're going to be quicker and easier than this army, and they will be. But gotta be with the times, you know. And
also you plan on using this army in the BAO, right?
I would have used Bone Reapers.
Oh, okay.
Probably, but yeah. Now I will use this army.
Because of the updated book.
No. In fact, I don't even get to use the updated book. It won't be out in time for BAO. I'll have to use the old book.
Okay.
Yeah. It literally misses it by like.
This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
To me. Yeah.
So it misses it by like the exact amount. Like if it had been if the BAO had been next weekend, the following weekend.
Oh, the first weekend of June.
Yeah. Then it would be okay. But they like set a limit so that people have time to kind of like wrap their head around the book and like get used to it, and maybe even FAQs come out if anything's wrong with it, stuff like that.
I see.
So it's not making that deadline.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, where are you at with your
with my
with your
Bloodwrack?
dude?
She's almost done.
Do you want to show her off?
Yeah. Well, okay. So a few things are gonna have to happen. I need to finish her spear, her Bloodwrack spear. I probably will. I think I use this ghost tint, the yellow ghost tint, which has a bit of a gloss to it. After I varnish her, that gloss is going to go away. So I'm going to varnish her and then go back in one more time on the ghost tint.
Okay.
I'm doing all this stuff on her that's drippy, yellow, not red, because I don't know. I had to clean that up. That's pretty bad. So a little cleanup there. And her spear, and honestly, then she's almost done. And then I'll have to go back, and I'm excited to have her on the base and everything.
Yeah, she looks cool. I know it was my suggestion, but I really like the metallic.
The metallic was a good call.
I really like the thing that I said to do.
The metallic was a good call. It was a very good call because it does add like just this dimension that was really not exactly there otherwise. And yeah, I don't know, just kind of an interesting vibe. I actually want to do kind of carefully here a little more metallic on her hair snakes, which I guess are not, I don't know what they are, snakes.
Hair snakes.
Yeah, just some hair snakes here. Yeah.
Are there other smaller snake people that you could use as just like an infantry unit almost?
They're all about her size, but there are other units of snake ladies, but they're all kind of big.
Oh.
Yeah. I have some. I have one actually. The kind of like the thing you're painting. I have like one of them has one of the snake ladies with it. I can grab it in a sec. But yeah, definitely we'll have some snake ladies. Snake ladies are in the current book very much maligned. Everybody hates them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can. I don't know. They're just funky. They can shoot.
Hate as in like they're too good.
They're too good.
Okay.
Yeah. They're rough.
Yeah. I know. I like it. It's pretty cool. This is my first time seeing like a turquoisey one. So.
Yeah. I think it's gonna look good with the rest of my army. I really didn't want to do like a warm green, so. Okay, spear time.
Awesome. Well, speaking of other cool stuff, we got some some fan stuff.
We do have cool fan stuff.
Yeah.
The fan stuff was kind of off the charts.
Yeah, it was a lot. I picked them again today because I just really like it. I like scrolling through it. I might not like comment all the time in the Discord, but I do like look through everything.
Yeah.
So.
She's a real Santa Claus of fan stuff.
Yeah.
She knows.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. So great job. We have this Tau.
This is a storm surge.
Storm tide.
Storm surge. And it's a doozy.
It was cool. Yeah, there's a bunch of different pictures of it. There's one that shows off the base a little bit more because there's like some dudes there. But I like the lighting on this one a lot. But I think it's very well known that I am a big fan of like green and golds together, and this is like more like a turquoise and gold or copper, but it looks really cool. It gives off like this sort of like old Egyptian kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a bunch of different pictures of this, so
there
definitely
are,
check it out.
and you need to go look for it because one thing Kat and I were saying is that this tree looks very cool, but when this fan uploaded these pictures, every picture was either like the tree looked extra cool or the storm surge looked extra cool.
Yeah, I picked the one where the model looked
the
extra
model
cool.
From this angle, we confess, and I think the uploader of this will understand that it's just from this angle. We thought that this looked like a piece of broccoli. And it doesn't in real life, we promise. Like, you just have to see the angles.
The different angles,
the different angles. It looks amazing. But we were like, this is like not the best angle for the tree, but this picture shows off the storm surge the best.
Yeah.
So we went with it. But the tree is actually really cool too.
Yeah, the whole base.
The base is really cool.
The whole base is really cool because there is just one picture of just the guys on the base, and they are also painted up very nicely.
Yes.
Yeah. There was one other picture where it showed off everything. It just wasn't the best picture of the storm surge.
It's like a diorama where they're like the storm surge crew is like out of the storm surge is what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. I don't know enough about it, but yeah.
I think that's what's going on. Yeah. I saw the Kat. I saw what you're talking
picture?
about, where with the people on the base, and I think that's what's like going on.
Fair. Tyranids. I don't know what this model is, but it's Tyranids.
Is
right?
that no?
No.
I don't.
Oh no.
Is that a conversion?
It's something, right?
It's definitely something.
There was a bunch of different pictures of it as well too, but it looked like a Tyranid model with different wings.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know. It was really cool too.
Yeah.
But again, there's a bunch of different pictures of it. I like this angle because it showed off the weathering the most.
All right. I'm going to go look on the computer.
Yeah, fair.
I need to get a nice close look at this thing. I'm very curious what this is now. Oh, yeah. I think it's mechanical too. It's definitely like a high level of conversion.
Yeah.
And like accounts as something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a mechanical, it looks like a Mechanicus Tyranid type deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I thought it was really cool.
It is super cool.
Both of the conversion work and like a lot of the details and stuff like that were picked out. But yeah, the weathering I think is really awesome.
Yeah.
The conversion itself is just,
yeah,
really cool.
It's really cool.
Now this one, I know the person said wasn't finished. There's also a lot of pictures of this one as well too. What I liked about it is the really cool glow effect that they have around the plasma.
Yeah.
That's really, really, really well done. There are other angles and other pictures of it that show off the glow effect a little bit more. I wanted to get both the glow effect and the like rust and everything like that was going on. Someone said Kit bashed Maloceptor for that other thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so this base I know isn't completely finished, but I thought it was super, super, super cool. The glow around the plasma definitely sticks out like a ton, which I thought was super awesome. So yeah.
Yeah, this is really cool. I'm curious to see what's going to go on. This is a base, so I'm kind of curious to see what's going to go on here.
Yeah, I wonder. Be cool. And this guy with the sword polisher. Dude.
Oh, I always forget his name. Yeah, this Black Templar guy. I know I should know his name, guys. Grimwaldus? No. What's his name, guys? I forget. Anyway, yes. You were talking about
the sword polisher guy.
Yeah, and how much you loved all the memes.
Yeah, and all the memes around him, like the great clean one.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the great unclean one made into the great clean one. Yeah, I don't know. I like it, but this was painted so beautifully. I just had to pick it. It was really cool. I like the weathering around the cape and like all the different banners and stuff. I thought the cloth work on this is really what stood out to me the most.
Yeah, it's like a, I mean, like you wouldn't. This is the type of thing you'd be like, oh yeah, that got entered into Golden Demon.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Like you'd be like, oh yeah, this is definitely ready to be entered in some high level stuff.
In some sort of competition. Yeah.
Amazing.
Always be cleaning. Yes.
Hellbricht.
Yeah.
I don't know where I came up with Grimwaldus. Is that even a thing, guys?
I'm sure it is. And this really cool bell, but I believe is from Bryce. And he has another picture that shows off the entirety. I think it's like a cool chariot looking thing. But I like the weathering and the patina that he put onto the bell. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I'm so excited to play Bryce again with this army against. He's really expanded his Skaven. Bryce, I think, is in chat, and you guys have heard us talk about him before. He's a local boy, probably knows hyphies.
Probably.
He's a Bay Area native, and oh my God, I felt awful. I had to. There's an RTT that I like to go to at Mad Alpaca in Fairfield. It's one of the only places that regularly runs Sigmar. It's a hike, and I was just like, it's next Sunday, and this past Sunday, I was like painting all day Sunday. I was like, I'm going to have to do this again next Sunday if I want to be. I was like trying to get this army done for that event, and I was like, I can't paint Marathi in a week, plus finish 40 Witch Elves, plus 10 Bow, all this other stuff. So I was like, you know what? Bryce is going to hate me, but I got to bail. Bryce, I owe you.
Aww.
It's I'm saying it here on stream. Yeah, so got to get a game in. Before BAO, him and I just need some BAO practice.
Well, speaking of your terrain, Rudy, here it is.
Here it is.
Yeah. Definitely a work in progress still, but what I really liked about it was all the different like green stuff world things that you used on it, which were recognizable to me at least. At least I think that's what you used in order to get like the tentacles and stuff like that. But yeah, this was really cool. This was really cool to see. Again, there's a bunch of different pictures, a bunch of different pictures of this terrain specifically in different stages as well too. And yeah, that's what I liked about it is like you can see essentially every step that Rudy took in order to get up to at least this level and, you know, maybe go beyond that.
I'm very excited. I always forget, Rudy, where this is at, but I'm very excited to like one day get to go to this game store and see all this terrain like in action.
Yeah. It's in Georgia. I forgot what city though. It's a couple miles out from Atlanta.
Okay.
Least. Yeah. So there's that. Yeah, speaking of like, there's a bunch of different pictures of it. So this was like a whole crew, I think, of these cool like samurai ladies. This one I liked a lot just due to like the purity seals and stuff, but they look like different bandanas and like fabrics and stuff that you would see in like a really cool samurai movie or something, or like an anime. I thought this was really cool. I liked all the hats and stuff, but it's very
right.
like
yes
cyberpunky in a way.
Yeah, these are, and again, a bunch of pictures. It's often hard to pick that best picture, I feel like. Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, no, and it's hard to like pick one when there's like a bunch of them, but this one stuck out to me just due to the basing and like the pose of the model. I thought it was really cool. So good job on that. And yeah, I don't know what this model is.
Oh, these are sorcerers from Thousand Suns.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think they're just sorcerers or exalted sorcerers. They're called. Yeah, and they look super cool. Yeah.
Yeah. What stuck out to me, because again, a bunch of pictures, were the like super bright green, like flames. Is that what they are?
Yeah, like hex fire. It's called.
Hex.
Just like Zinchi fire, chaosy Zinchi stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And speaking of Bryce, I believe that's how he painted his cron spine.
That is, yeah. I don't know if that's done yet. I'm excited to see that though. I guess he's going to be using. I guess I'll play against it next time I play Bryce.
Well, I mean, he's going to be at the BAO.
Yeah.
So.
I know, Bryce. We probably will get paired against each other.
Yeah. No, this was really well done. I loved also how like high quality the pictures were. So that was really cool. But the cloth work again on this one really stood out to me a lot. So good job. And more terrain. I liked all the little details and stuff on this. There's like a bunch of pictures of this on the Discord. And there's a couple of them that are like super weathered up and stuff, but they're building like a whole board that looks like this, and just a bunch of these different capsules essentially. So yeah, I liked it. I liked the weather.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this was cool. And you know what, like I bet this is gonna be like easy to store. I feel like, I know that seems like such a nerdy thing to like.
But that's a big thing when it comes to terrain. Yeah, it's like, how do I store this? It's essentially like, what I mean, you've stated like one of the first things you think about, right?
Yeah.
Is how do I store this
Exactly.
thing? Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of pictures on this. They're building up this whole table essentially. So definitely go check that out. And
Also
more terrain. Yeah, more terrain. Again, more stuff as well too. I picked this picture though because you can see like just how much work they've put into all the details, and the weathering and stuff, and like the little like glow effects on all the lights, which I appreciated. And that was like, I don't know, like when people pay attention to details like that. It just makes me.
It's nice, right?
It makes me enjoy it a little bit more because that stuff stands out to me. So yeah, I like it. It shows a lot more effort than just, oh, I'm gonna slap some rust on this or something. Yeah, so it's great.
Yeah.
Oh no. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess what army this is. I give up.
Wait, because of our view on this?
Yeah.
We're both gonna have to go look at the screen for this one. Can you tell?
Well, it's turquoise.
It looks like
Turquoise
Thousand
Space
Suns.
Marines
It looks
ish.
like
Thousand Suns, right?
It looks like Thousand Suns. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but again, a bunch of different pictures of this in particular, but I always like to pick like the one that shows most of it when it comes to like the armies, because it really shows the cohesiveness and like the level that everything is painted up to.
Yeah.
But this one was really clean, and I like that.
I do too, and I like my Thousand Suns clean. I think they're
clean
lore-wise,
army.
that's kind of their thing.
Oh, is being.
They're
like,
a little
neat.
fanciful. They're kind of like wizardy guys. Yeah, this is Thousand Suns. Oh yeah, this looks great. Zangors. Oh, the orange is so cool in here. Right?
Yeah, they have a lot of high contrast colors in it, and that helps
amazing.
it stick out a lot. But yeah. Now you got some orcs, and I really like, and I guess opposite of clean. I either like it like really clean and crisp, or just completely weathered out entirely.
Agree.
And like super gritty and dirty, which is what these orcs are. And yellow is such a hard color to make look good, I guess, when it comes to like hobby stuff. So yeah, and this looks fantastic, I think. So this is super awesome.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, and they've done a good job of making it look dirty without being too dirty. And yeah, if you like have to go hard one way or the other, right? Yeah. Like it can't be ambiguous. Like, are you going for clean or are you going for dirty?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I think a lot of the issues with weathering is like, where do I stop? But it's usually like there's kind of a fine line of like either it's just completely rusted out or, you got a couple scratches here and there. Right. So, yeah. Now these ones you were super excited about.
Oh yeah.
Were the galaxy.
Yeah, galaxy effect, like terrifying the horses. Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious what they're using these for, because they're like each based separately. So I'm not sure. I'd be very curious if this fan is around to know what's up with it or what they're going to use them for. But certainly a lot of death armies it'll work.
Oh, because these are the ones that pull the chariot.
The chariot, like the black coach or something.
Yeah, the black coach. Yeah.
Yeah, is that how the model's set up though? I thought those were all on like one base, and here it looks like they've like taken them off and like. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know what's going on. I
thought they were really cool though. I liked the galaxy thing on the Night Haunt models. I think that's really cool, rather than just being like, oh, it's white.
Right. Yeah, no, it's super cool. These caught my attention right away. It's like, oh, these are so cool.
Yeah, so good job on that. And I love the creativity, but I am curious now that you've pointed out like what models they are.
Right.
Of like what they're going to be used for. That'd be pretty cool. Slaanesh.
Yes, this is the, I forget what this is called. Epitome of something.
Yeah, so there was a bunch of pictures of their entire army. And I picked this one for obvious reasons because they did like a cute little portrait. And what are they holding up though? Like, is it like a...
It's a mirror.
Okay.
And like this thing has different rules. It's in both 40K and in Sigmar. But in general, it does stuff like makes you fight last because like you look into it, you gaze into it, and you're just like stunned. It just like has like these bizarre stun effects that it does.
Well, I'm stunned.
Yes, so. It is absolutely stunning in more than one way. Kat, I'm like slowly spinning around and wondering, did I like take all of the varnish home? Was there a varnish here? I'm asking Kat because she organized
Because I organized everything. I did not see a varnish, no.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to varnish this lady later.
Yeah. Yes, I organized all of the stuff. So if anyone's noticed that things have changed around, hopefully it makes it easier for you to find stuff. For us to find stuff. Yeah. And everything has a home, and I expect it to stay that way. And I'm not saying this to you, Zach, because I know who it is.
You know who the culprit is.
That takes stuff and then just is like, it goes over here, and no, it doesn't. Everything has a home. I hope it stays that way. But yeah, no, this mirror thing was really cool. I like the portrait painted on it. I thought it was not portrait, but landscape. There you go.
I don't know. Yeah, if I ever painted this, I've often thought I have. So the version of her who's on the giant cart has something very similar. She has like a mirror thing, and behind her, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. It seems weird to just like paint a mirror on it. Like I don't know. I guess I want to paint something like an image or something, but I'm not sure what to do. Yeah, and this is kind of inspiring me to attempt something like.
Ooh.
Yeah, you know who's very good at this is Bryce. Actually, speaking of freehand, I think Bryce would like not shy away from painting a little scene on this. But I'm not sure. I'm just not sure what I'm going to do yet. I have to think about it. Oh, these are so cool. Yeah, these are super cool. I don't. Oh yeah, it's just like Gene Stealer call conversions. This is super like John Blanche. Who's like this original artist. I don't know if you'd see it. You know what I'm talking about, Kat? Does that mean? Okay, you would see it. If you saw it, you'd be like, oh yeah, I've seen this. It's all like really sketchy, and it's like original 40K art.
Oh, okay, yeah, because this kind of just reminded me of like The Walking Dead. The comic,
Yeah, there's like Walking Dead comic, John Blanche, a little bit of, I think I would see a little bit of similarities between those. Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. And again, multiple pictures.
Well, this is a cool photo too. They're doing this thing, we've talked about this before, where they're using like, new undead for Underworlds. That's not a Gene Stealer in the back. Why did I think it was a Gene Stealer? Why am I... Blanjitsu, yeah. John Blanche stuff's cool. I'm so bad at like seeing this TV. I really need to go through fan stuff on my own before the show starts.
Yeah.
Everything just looks cool, but then I can never tell what anything is when people do like if it's new models or if it's like a conversion. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. See, for me, I get to be ignorant of everything unless I know what it is.
Yeah.
And I just go, this is cool. I like it. Save.
Yeah. Nobody's like, wait, how does Zach not know?
No expectations.
The Sigmar person, how does he not know what's going on? Oh, here he is.
Yeah.
Here's our guy. Yeah, Ceresco. Yeah, I just like this bright style that he's got. And I love how the orc's like skin and stuff like sticks out from
the rest of it.
The rest of them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, this is a really good painter.
Again, ooh, orc. I like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is really cool, and it was also really cool that you got to meet him.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, I'm sure, really fun.
Yeah. His Death Guard is still, I think, probably my favorite, which was like super bright green, but like somehow still captured what it means to be Death Guard. And I'm into it.
Yeah. No, this is really cool, and I believe Ceresco is this is his job, right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
He paints a lot.
Yeah, that's essentially it. Of like, it's always something different every week from him. So
yeah,
that's really cool. And then that's it.
Fun. Okay, I'm gonna put my Bloodwrack Medusa up. I need to do like another layer on her. She can hang out, these ladies. I need to put like another layer on her ghost tint, but I'm gonna do it after I varnish. So, which I guess I left at home. So here she is, nice and mean.
Oh, she looks really good. Again, I'm gonna pat myself on the back.
The metallic was big. The metallic was big. Yeah.
Thank you for trusting me.
Yeah.
I saw the hesitancy in your eyes, and I'm like, no.
It's true. I was like, I'm not sure. So I do. The metallic is interesting. Like, this is a great use for it. But I do. It can shut down. It can shut down so much, if that makes sense. And I do still need. I want to do, I think, a little bit more with her spear, like, because it's big and it's all silver and it's just like this big flat area.
Okay.
I think I'd like to just like make it more shaded, just more interesting looking. So,
well, you know what looks really good on top of metallics?
More metallics?
No, your favorite ghost tints, yeah.
Yeah, I know. And I could do a ghost tint, but I don't know. But I'm excited with the way this army's coming out. She's going to really be the only one this blue. I think the rest of the snake ladies are going to, like, most of the rest of the snake ladies have the same top as like these other witch elves here. But then their bottom, I think I'm going to be doing like pinks mostly.
Oh, okay.
Like pretty vibrant pink. I might try your fluorescent trick too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind having some insanely vibrant pink look there.
Yeah, I think mixing fluorescence in with other colors definitely brings out the intensity. The only thing is that like with fluorescence, there's no fluorescent pink, it's fluorescent magenta. Because that's really what the true color would be.
Like, yeah, it's almost darker. So I don't know. But this is also like the problem. I might actually, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I've complained about this already, that there's no Citadel Air pink, actually. They really don't have one. I'll have to like make my own.
Interesting.
Yeah, because they have this pink, Emperor's Children, and they have Fulgrim.
But not in air.
But not in air, which means I'll have to make it, which I've done before. It's okay. It's not that hard. Yeah, they have like 5 purples.
It's just inconvenient.
And including, yeah, it is. It's inconvenient. Like it is, right? Whenever you have to make your own custom color.
Yeah.
And people were like I do it for my Simhan, and it's okay. But I feel like it's sort of like you think there's going to be cool payouts for making a custom color. And there's not. I don't know. I guess I'm pretty happy with my Simhan, but like it's not like people are like, "Whoa, custom color! That's so epic!" It's like nobody really processes it that way. You know what I mean? They're just like, like if you make a really cool custom color and then like you paint like crap, no one's gonna be like, "Well, hey, great custom color at least." Like nobody does that, right? Like I don't know. I don't know that you get like extra points for a custom color. So gotta think on that.
Yeah, I don't think it's immediately evident unless you paint a lot of like what is a custom color and what isn't a custom color, right? Of like, oh, you mix that. I think really then it's just like, oh, that's a cool color. What is it? right? Like, what's the name of it?
Yeah. No, Willow, I know. I'm probably going to have to... Oh, okay. That's awesome. She said squid pink. Yeah, I'm going to have to use a non-Citadel air, which is fine. Game air. Yeah, game air is pretty good. I think it goes... I'm just like a lot of different non-Citadel air. I don't feel like I can trust going through an airbrush as much. That's like me and that gel very well going through like my airbrushes. AK is pretty good, except for like I think there's something up with that chocolate. That one's like different. It's like a
also the AK 3rd gen line isn't
technically an airbrush.
Airbrush line.
But it goes through a Patriot perfectly. So yeah, I think I'll have to use something that's not Citadel air, which I think I've had good luck with Vallejo air. I just haven't used it. It's hard to find in the Bay Area.
Vallejo?
Yeah. You can never find Vallejo.
Yeah. It's been hard for, even us to get restocks of it.
That's why I'm having a hard time finding it, because that's where I get it.
Yes.
So yeah, it's not a good supply chain from wherever it gets Spain to me.
Well, the AK is also Spain, so I don't know if it's just a thing with Vallejo or what's going on. Maybe they can't keep up with demand. Because I know that they've grown in popularity lately, so...
Vallejo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be a thing. I don't know.
Awesome. We calling it?
Yeah.
Let's call it. Guys, next week, we don't know what we're doing yet.
Probably more.
Probably might be more.
You really need to get your stuff done for
I might have I might have some Marathi around.
Yeah.
Or maybe one of the carts. I'm not exactly sure yet. Got to figure it out. I've got like 40 witch elves to work on this week. I hope at this time next week. I hope to be done 40 witch elves. They're pretty far along, but I am trying to do a good job on them.
Yeah, I came in here and I was like, "Oh, how's your stuff?" And you're like, "I painted shoes."
Yeah.
And
when
that's it.
When you're painting like 40 or something, you're like, okay, time to do boots. And it's like, I literally worked from home yesterday.
Yeah.
And did just painted boots. I think I painted for about 10 hours, mostly boots.
Yeah.
Like all 10 hours.
Yeah. So either I'm doing more Gloomspite or I actually might have a part of my 3D printed stuff done.
Oh, fun.
So,
that'd be cool too.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of it got reprinted. So hopefully it's good.
Awesome, guys. Thank you. And as we like to say here, be kind to each other, be kind to yourselves, and always be creating. See you guys.